how do you define right people?
Well, it's interesting. First of all, it all starts with what it is that you want to accomplish, right? I think, an example, plenty of examples in my career, early on in my career, I was learning how to develop strategies and what was a vision. And once that comes into play, then you can really start to think, okay, what are the people what skills do I need? What skills do I have? And if you've inherited a team, as I did in many situations, what skills does the team have already? And so you look for, both the hard skills, whether it's certain technical gaps or other gaps, depending on the type of teams you're managing. And then I spend a lot of time, maybe more than many people do, on the soft skills. I always, for example, like to have a person on my team who rubs everybody the wrong way just a little bit, because usually that's someone who's highly creative and has a very strong opinion, and it makes everybody else think. And so and it can't just be me doing that. Similarly, I like to have people on the team who are, at least a couple of them, who are very collaborative, who spend more time trying to build bridges and relationships than I think most people do. And the combination of those two can make for some very entertaining meetings, I can assure you of that, but also they have a lot to do with the success of the team. And then I also go to understand the working styles of each person, right? So as an example, some people who are very detail-oriented and they are wonderful at analysis, sometimes they can be in the wrong jobs. I've inherited teams where, these folks were front and center trying to be the face of the organization, and they just fail miserably and they're frustrated. So, I will look at those type of folks, and they're worth gold, right? Especially these days with the emphasis on data and analysis in all of the technology worlds in which we live. And then similarly, if you put somebody who is a dynamic speaker and has a lot of energy, talks fast and very creative in a role of analyzing mountains of data, they fail miserably and they're horribly unhappy too. So, a lot of times I find that people are often miscast. People say, oh, they're not doing a good job, and usually it's because they're not in the right role.
So what you are really saying is that it's not just having the right people in the team. How do you put the right people on the right seat?
I, years ago, was hired and I replaced someone, and everyone thought that I was going to let that person go, that I was not, why would I keep that person? Well, it turned out that she had actually been in the wrong role. In fact, she had gone forward and said to my boss at the time, before I joined, I can't do this job, you need to find somebody to replace me. And what I learned when I spoke with her was she had this incredible strategic mind. She had a problem in terms of her communication. She would talk over people, interrupt them, and wouldn't let anyone get a word in edgewise. And so we worked on that, and I actually wound up moving her to another location inside the United States to manage another team. They thought I was crazy when I did that, by the way. And I worked with her to ensure that when she sat down to introduce herself as the leader of that team, that she explained what her habits were and gave people permission to help her overcome them. And about a year later, I had people coming up to me saying, it's amazing. She is doing a great job, and we never would have guessed that she would have been right for this role. And I think she's a remarkable person. She's still in the role today, and I give her a lot of credit. And I feel very glad that she wasn't just summarily escorted out of the company when I joined. Mm-hmm.